What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Apocalypse, and we're going to be trying him out against Galactus, and I just kind of felt like doing that because it was Saturday, and I had him at level 68. As you can see now, I do finally have him getting closer to level 70. I was able to realize his potential, but on Saturday when I recorded the Galactus fight, I did not have his potential realized all the way. I got really unlucky with the last step here from 68 to 70 for the potential. It used up all my Phoenix Feathers, all my Uncrowned Shards, and I failed it twice at like 80%. So I got really annoyed with that. But I finally got it on the third try. And now I'm just gathering up the BIOS to get him to level 70, and I figured I would wait until after recording this video, since the Galactus fight that you're going to see is with Apocalypse at level 68, so I just wanted to show you that I haven't changed anything. So this is going to be the exact build that you will see in the clip against Galactus. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. For his gears here, we have all of them still at level 20, haven't started working on the gears yet, and then we have some Uru on him. We do have these Ignore Defense Uru that I do need to take off of him since his uniform does give us the extra 20% Ignore Defense, so I don't need those anymore. I can replace those with something a little bit better for him. For his skills here, we do have all of his skills leveled up to 6. For his Iso 8 set, we have a fully awakened Power of Angry Hulk. And then for his custom gear here, we do have a CTP of Energy, a 180 proc, so could re-roll that if I want to get to the 200% proc, but it's working fine for me right now. For his uniform, we have it up to Heroic, just because it took me quite a while to get his potential realized in the first place, just to start leveling him up. So I had all of my X-Men materials overflowing, so I decided to dump them into his uniform here. So that's why his uniform's at Heroic. I don't remember what I even picked for the options. We have attack speed, energy attack, and HP. I don't think I've even changed any of those around, but I don't think he needs any other stats. If we go over here to the details, we're capped out on attack speed, ignore defense, and skill cooldown, all of the main stuff that we're looking for. Our crit rate is pretty much at 50%, which is nice, so I just need to work on a little bit more crit damage on him. His ignore defense is quite high because he has some natively, and then we're also getting it from the CTP of energy. So that's what my Apocalypse is looking like here. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the gameplay of him versus Galactus. Alright, so here we are at the fight. We've got two random teammates here. We've got a tier 3 Doctor Strange to help us out, and a tier 3 Jean Grey. Jean has, for some reason, a weapon hex with her. She doesn't really need that extra healing, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Probably a bonus character for them or something like that. And then we have our Apocalypse. So what I did with Apocalypse here is I went with the dual support and his own leadership. So we have Apocalypse lead, and then we have Valkyrie and Ghost Panther as the two support characters to boost them up from their tier 2 passive. I just wanted to give Apocalypse kind of the best support that I could, most damage increase, just because he is only level 68. He's not level 70 quite yet, which again I will be able to do now. And then hopefully if I get lucky on his gears, I'll be able to get him to tier 3 kind of in the near future, and then we can compare his tier 3 damage versus his tier 2 damage. And the reason that I actually decided to make this video or continue with this video, because I just recorded, of course, I see the gameplay here without any initial commentary, so I just record these and then I do the voiceover as I'm doing right now. And mainly that's just because a lot of times I'm testing out the characters, and there's a lot of times where I get bad runs, so I don't feel like repeating myself over and over again by doing voiceover on bad runs where I either die or it just I have really bad rotations or something like that. So that's kind of my reasoning behind that. And for characters in Apocalypse case here, if he did horribly, then I wouldn't have done this video, and I would have just waited until I got him to level 70, or waited until I got him to tier 3 before I actually kind of did the showcase here, or taking him in against Galactus. But as you can probably tell from what I just said right there, and the fact that this video is live and you're watching it, that he did well, or he did a lot better than I thought he was going to do. And yeah, at level 68 here, Apocalypse was putting in work. I was quite surprised at how much damage he was doing at level 68. I mean, he does have double support in his own leadership, but that's still nothing too crazy, because his leadership is only an 18% all attack boost, I think, was it? So nothing too crazy there. So like a a strong lead, like a She-Hulk lead, would be better with just a single support, or it'd be about the same actually for any other character. And Apocalypse, with this new uniform though, it just changed him quite a bit because he hits really, really hard with this uniform. So the rotation that I'm using with this Messiah Complex, the tongue twister right there for me, I can't say that word very well for some odd reason. The Messiah Complex uniform is I use the third skill, cancel instantly into the fourth skill. As soon as the fourth skill makes that kind of bubble around him, I go into the fifth skill to try to get my damage proc. So even with this uniform, we do still have quite a bit of skill canceling. It's nothing nearly as bad as his base kit. His base kit, you're basically canceling everything right away and just going through like every skill as fast as you can. So for this one, at least there's a little bit more I don't know if I should say skill, but there's a little bit more that you can do with his skills. You don't feel like you're just spamming every skill and then running around. You're still spamming 3 skills, but then you can still use the 2 and the 1 in between there, which I do a lot of times in War Boss Ultimate. I don't think I do it as much here against Galactus. I pretty much just wait for the rotation to come off the cooldown, and I just keep doing the 3, 4, 5. But when I'm doing World Boss Ultimate, I do the 3, 4, 5, and then as soon as the 5 is done, or I get most of the damage from the 5, because you can cancel out the 5 partway through, and it still keeps having kind of that image of him, or that kind of that see-through Apocalypse that's hitting the ground right there, continues to do his thing, and you're able to cancel into a skill and it still does the damage. But of course that will end your damage proc. You don't get this the extra damage. Is here? Oh, yeah, we're doing the orbs here. So that's why I try not to cancel it very early. And look how fast Apocalypse is. I think later on in this video, both of my teammates die, and Apocalypse is so fast that he's able to cover like all 3. Actually, I'm pretty much covering all 3 right now. Oh yeah, both my teammates have left, so never mind. As you can see from the little dot right there from the co-op skill, none of my teammates are here. They both left, so they had no faith. But anyway, as you can see, we're about at the halfway mark for our time. And we're pretty close to the halfway mark for Galactus right there. So if my teammates had probably stayed and stuck around and actually played their characters manually, we might have actually been able to beat this. Or at least that's what it's looking like right now. I can't remember how much health he had at the end of this, which, spoiler alert, we do not clear Galactus with just Apocalypse here. What that would be very impressive. Level 68 Apocalypse soloing Galactus, that would be pretty insane. But no, we're not able to do that. But where was I? I was talking about a skill rotation. So yeah, so in like World Boss Ultimate, or if you're maybe in Shadowland or something like that, the rotation I like to use is 3, 4, 5. 3 cancel, wait for the bubble on 4, go into 5 for the damage proc, and then after 5 is played partway through, I use the second skill for the summons, which is now a very quick animated skill, so very nice, and then I hop into the first skill, and we have the iframe right there, and then by the time the first skill is done, the third skill is off of cooldown, and I can just kind of repeat the rotation. So he has a pretty smooth skill rotation right now. The only thing that you need to worry about is sometimes when you have all of your summons out from the second skill, they can accidentally trigger your damage proc when you're using the fourth skill, because then you have the initial hit from the fourth skill right before the bubble pops up, and then you have your summons doing their kind of lingering attacks, and that can have a chance to proc your CTP or Obelisk, so that it can happen right before the fifth skill, which is quite annoying because then you miss out on all of that damage. But as you can see, look how much damage Apocalypse is doing, because I'm the only one alive right now. So all of that damage was just from Apocalypse. So look at that. He's doing like 1.5 bars of damage per damage proc. So that's really nice. So yeah, Galactus, Apocalypse, did I call him Apocalypse Galactus before? Maybe, maybe not. Is doing really well. Like, his damage surprised me for just being level 68 and based off of how he was performing before. I mean, he used to have okay damage, but it was nothing spectacular. His damage kind of fell off very, very quickly in terms of everyone else outpacing him. And right there, that's also another really cool thing about the second skill is, as you can see, I was in a bit of trouble right there because Galactus was about to use one of those unavoidable purple attacks that pierces through everything, so I needed to get into the bubble to be safe. But I had just started using my fifth skill, so if I couldn't cancel out of my fifth skill, I wouldn't really have been able to run away from that. I would have had to switch characters. So, you know, a lot of times when you start using a skill and you just can't cancel out of it, or the skill animation is too long, you switch your character so that you can avoid the attack. But for Galactus here, you can hop into the second skill, so it'll cancel him out of the fifth skill, and the second skill has such a short animation that I'm able to just run away pretty much right away after using the skill. So it's a very, very good kind of get out of jail free card if you need to avoid an attack right now. Just use that second skill, it'll cancel you out of whatever skill you're in, and boom, you're able to run away and get where you need to get. And also look at that nice healing right there. So Apocalypse has also got great survivability. He's got iframes, he's super tanky, he's got the heal. So yeah, overall I'm just really liking the I guess the new uniform for him, because that's mainly what's kind of changed him. Yeah, it's just really nice. And then of course having his potential realized so that he can get up to level 70 is also a huge bump in terms of his damage and also his playability in like World Boss Ultimate and things like that. So really liking this new Apocalypse here. So I can't wait to get him to tier 3. So he's definitely going to be my next tier 3 character. Yeah, because I have all the materials still, even though I did just recently, probably at the time of recording this video, it might be the video before this, or maybe even the video after this. I might not even have posted it when you see this video, is I tier 3'd my Quicksilver. So he was one that I was just kind of itching for another tier 3, so I decided to tier 3 him, and he's one I was looking at anyway. So yeah, I just decided to tier 3 him, and of course my materials were building up a little bit just because I haven't tier 3'd a character in a while, so I definitely had enough of the CCF to tier 3 both of these characters if I wanted to. So that was just kind of why I decided to do that. So Apocalypse here is definitely looking very appealing for my next tier 3, and of course he is. So as soon as I get all of his gears to 25, which could be a while depending on RNG, and maybe, I don't know, me getting lucky with World Boss of the Day being one of the X-Men, then I can get more Phoenix Feathers to hopefully get his gears up a little bit quicker. But yeah, overall, really liking Apocalypse new uniform, liking the potential, liking the look of his tier 3 so far, except it still kind of lags the game when you use his tier 3 skill, which is a little bit scary and a little bit annoying. So hopefully they will fix that at some point here. So yeah, that's kind of the only complaint that I have there. But also, I do have, like I said, the CTP of energy on Apocalypse, but I'm curious, for those of you that put a mind damage obelisk on him, is he performing really well with that, since all of his skills have been switched to mind damage, or except for one, right? So there's one skill that's not mind damage, I think the first skill. Are you seeing like similar numbers than like a CTP of energy or something like that? So is the CTP of energy pretty much getting you to similar results of maybe a double mind damage proc kind of thing? Because I'm curious on that, because I don't really want to unequip my CTP of energy just because I do like it on him. But anyway, as you can see here, we did 42 million damage, almost 43 million damage in the 10 minutes. So that is more than enough to do a third of the damage. And he still has room to grow because he's level 68. So just getting to level 70 will probably bump that up a little bit. And then when I get him to tier 3, of course, that's going to bump it up a little bit more. So it's looking like when I get him to tier 3, he might even be able to do like a full solo of Galactus here. I might be a little optimistic in saying that, but his damage is looking really good. I mean, 42 million is super, super solid for a tier 2 character and also a level 68. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Are you liking the changes here to Apocalypse? Is Apocalypse, I think I was saying Galactus that whole time. Just kind of clicked in my brain right there. But anyway, is Apocalypse looking really good to you guys? Are you guys going to get him as your next tier 3? Are you impressed? Are you not impressed with him? But that's going to be it for this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.